Admiral Alvin Halsey, the four-star commander of U.S. Southern Command overseeing Caribbean military operations, was forced to resign in October 2025 after just 1 year into his 3-year term for refusing to execute what he deemed illegal boat strikes ordered by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, including a September 2nd double-tap that killed 2 survivors clinging to wreckage, sparking bipartisan outrage over potential war crimes or murder in undeclared conflicts. The abrupt ouster of Admiral Alvin Halsey from Southcom has ignited a firestorm in Washington as reports reveal Hegseth's ultimatum: comply with murky orders or walk, forcing the decorated Navy leader's early exit amid a pattern of lethal overreach in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. Wall Street Journal investigations expose Halsey's stand against strikes targeting survivors, framing them as violations of international law and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, a rare resignation that underscores the administration's loyalty over legality ethos. Hegseth's September 2nd directive for a kill everybody follow-up on a suspected drug boat, after the initial blast left 2 alive amid debris, has drawn war crime accusations from experts and Republicans like Rand Paul, who demand evidence before executions in non-war zones. Bipartisan lawmakers, viewing classified video of the carnage, recoil in horror, one Democrat calling it the most troubling sight in public service, as armed services committees ramp up oversight via the National Defense Authorization Act to mandate detailed Pentagon disclosures. Halsey's farewell aboard the USS Bataan in December 2025, honoring 37 years of service, drips with subtext, his lethal warfighting praise clashing with the moral stand that cost him his command. Trump's video threats against veterans like Mark Kelly for oath reminders, deeming resistance seditious, echo in the Admiral's exile, a chilling message rippling down the chain where obedience trumps ethics. Repatriations of 2 non-prosecutable Colombians and Ecuadorians highlight the strike's sloppiness. No evidence, no trials, just death, while Trinidad families grieve an innocent fisherman's murder. Hegseth's Sunday denial of the second strike flipped to Monday's podium admission, exposing lies or incompetence that Paul skewers as needing names and accusations before killings. The fentanyl pretext crumbles under analysis. Cocaine and marijuana dominate routes to Europe and Africa, leaving the government's narrative in tatters. As whistleblowers and videos fuel probes, the public grapples with a military pitted against citizens, trust eroding under enormous stress on professionals sworn to the Constitution, not a commander-in-chief's whims. This isn't drug enforcement. It's extrajudicial execution in undeclared shadows. Halsey's rare resignation, a canary in the coal mine of a regime where questions invite exile. Admiral Alvin Halsey's October 2025 resignation from U.S. Southern Command, overseeing Caribbean ops, came after relentless pressure from Hegseth for blind obedience to boat strikes deemed illegal, cutting short a 3-year term in a move rarer than a declared war. The Wall Street Journal details Halsey's objections to murky authority, survivor targeting, and moral legal costs, culminating in Hegseth's on the team or not ultimatum: move fast, no questions, echoing Trump's seditious label on veteran oath videos. September's inaugural strike on a suspected smuggling vessel failed to kill all, survivors gripping wreckage prompting Hegseth's kill everybody order for the double tap that erased them, framed as narco-trafficking but lacking congressional war authorization. Legal experts and human rights watchdogs brand it murder or war crime. The DoD manual prohibiting shipwreck attacks, even in conflict, a bar crossed in non-war fog, where fentanyl claims mass cocaine marijuana flows to Europe-Africa. Hegseth's Sunday fake news denial of the second strike morphed to Monday's podium concession. It happened, but no order from him, fueling Paul's demand for evidence before undeclared killings. Bipartisan revulsion surged after classified video screenings, Democrats decrying the worst public service site, Republicans like Wicker and Bacon insisting top accountability over bottom-rung blame. NDA provisions now mandate heightened Pentagon transparency after info failures, as armed services fumes at withheld details on these lethal ops. Halsey's December Bataan farewell, praising lethal teams with precision purpose, belies the stand that sidelined him. 37 years ending in principled pivot. Repatriated Colombians and Ecuadorians underscore evidentiary voids. No prosecutions, just graves. Trinidad can mourning a fisherman's mistaken murder. Hegseth's Liorlame flip exposes command incompetence. Paul's Know the Name, clarion clashing with extrajudicial blasts. The video's shipwreck sailors haunt SIFs, a stark DoD manual breach in undeclared dusk. As probes proliferate, the chain tenses, loyalties lash or legalities line. Halsey's rare exit a ripple of resistance in regime's rogue tide. In Southcom's Tampa Nerve Center, Halsey's four-star frame stiffened against Hegseth's edicts. Maps of Caribbean currents mocking the murky mandates as September 2nd drones locked on the Venezuelan hull. First blast blooming orange, but sparing two in debris clutches. Hegseth's Kill Everybody, crackling through lines to Bradley's JSOC relay. Halsey's objections echoed in secure calls. Legal fog, survivor sins, obedience's price. Hegseth's ultimatum landing like lead. Team or trail, questions quashed in fast march fidelity. October's quiet shove-out cleared his desk amid aides' averted eyes. 3-year term truncated in resignation's hush. December's Bataan deck his swan song. Voice steady over waves praising lethal precision as 37 years saluted in salt spray. SCF shadows in Capitol basements swallowed lawmakers' gasps at the video's visceral void. Shipwreck souls vaporized in secondary sunburst. One Democrat's troubling tremor voicing the room's raw recoil. Hegseth's Sunday screen time scorn. Fake. Didn't happen. Flipped to Monday's podium pivot. Levitt's latter clarification a linguistic lurch amid flashing lenses. Paul's Sunday sermon to Welker's sliced airwaves. Name and accuse a libertarian lance at nameless blasts. Fentanyl fibs fraying against cocaine's continental cruise. NDA drafters' chambers buzzed with transparency teeth. Armed services ire inkling provisions post-info famine. Wicker's top-down demand clashing Bacon's bottom-up blame. Trinidad shores wept for the fisherman's family. Repatriation flights ferrying uncharged Colombians and Ecuadorians back to voids of evidence. Graves their only verdict. Hegseth's command bunker, feeds flickering with 20-plus strikes 83 echoes, hummed with the Admiral's absence. Halsey's stand a spectral stand against the rogue relay. Veterans video oath. Kelly's pilot poised to Houlihan's Air Force grit. Reverberated in regime's rage. Trump's seditious slur and noose note on noncompliance. As probes spotlights sweep, the chain clanks. SCF silences to Sunday sermons. A military mired in moral mire. Halsey's ouster ripples with quiet fury among Southcom ranks. Aides whispering of the Admiral's principled pivot against Hegseth's hammer. His Bataan bow a bittersweet valediction laced with unvoiced umbrage at the truncated tour. Hegseth's ultimatum, team or not, lands like a gauntlet in JSOC journals. Bradley's relay a reluctant ripple down chains where questions quail under fast march fiat. Wall Street Journal sources see that the shove. Halsey's legal moral murmurings a mutiny's murmur against murky mandates. October's desk clear a dignified dusk to 37 years dawn. SCJF screenings shatter composure. Democrats' worst sight, a visceral vomit at shipwreck slaughter. Republicans' top accountability thunder a rare red state rumble echoing Paul's name before kill on Welker's stage. NDA ink flows furious. Transparency talons clawing post-info drought. Armed services bipartisan bite baring teeth at Pentagon parsimony. Trinidad tears torrent for the fisher's kin. Repatriations empty holds haunting Colombian and Ecuadorian homes. Evidentiary echoes of graves over gavel. Hegseth's denial to concession contortion draws Levitt's linguistic limbo. Sunday's scorn souring to Monday's mea maxima culpa minus order ownership. Paul's libertarian lance, evidence air execution, lances the fentanyl fog, cocaine's continental convoy, clashing narco-narrative. Veterans video vanguard, Kelly's cockpit calm to Crow's ranger resolve, stirs service souls under stress. Trump's seditious snarl a spectral specter on Oath's edge. Backgrounds boat blasts. 20-plus hulls, 83 shades. Swirl in undeclared dusk. Halsey's stand a singular spike in loyalty's lash. Lawmakers' outreach to the Admiral aches unanswered, his silence a stonewall or sanctuary in the storm's swirl. As probe's prongs probe, the public pulses with peril's pulse, trust's tether taut under enormous enlistment's edge. Halsey's rare resignation dissects as regime's red line razored. Hegseth's team or trail, a totalitarian triage torching 3-year tenures for legal qualms. Southcom's Caribbean compass skewed by survivor strikes in non-war nebulas. WSJ's Whisper Web unveils the Admiral's stand. Murky mandates, moral metrics, obedience's ounce, as mutinies murmur magnified in October's ouster. A 4-star fall foretelling fidelity's fracture under Fiat's fist. September 2's double-tap dynamo. First blast survivors snuffed in secondary surge. Parses as protocol's perversion. DoD manuals shipwreck taboo. Trampled in undeclared drifts. War crimes whisper or murders meow in congressional coyotes howl. Hegseth's Sunday scorched earth. Fake, no. To Monday's meandering Maya, Levitt's latter true, a linguistic labyrinthine in lie's lair. Paul's name and accuse needle nicks the narco nerve. Fentanyl's phantom flayed by cocaine's cross-continental cruise. Evidentiary ether where graves gape sans gavel. NDA's transparency transfusion teases teeth after info's famine. Bipartisan bite bearing at Pentagon's parsimony. Wickerbacon's top-down thunder a tectonic tilt in red-blue rift. Repatriation's riddle. Colombian Ecuadorian echoes empty of charges. Exposes evidentiary evanescence. Trinidad's Fisher folly a fatal footnote in Fogg's frenzy. Veterans video volley. Kelly's keel to Houlihan's horizon. Analyzes as Oath's offensive. Trump's seditious slur a spectral spike spiking service stress into sedition's snare. Background's blast barrage. 20-plus vessels vaporized. 83 apparitions afloat. Amplifies the anomaly. Halsey's holdout a herald of hierarchy's hemorrhage where legality lapses into loyalty's lockstep. Sif's shipwreck spectacle shatters the scrim. Democrats' dismay dissecting the troubling tableau as DoD dogma's desecration. This cascade cascades as command's conundrum, obey or oust. A admiral's exile etching ethics' edge in empire's erratic ethos. The briny bite of Caribbean currents carries Halsey's hollowed helm. October's ouster a bitter brine on 37 years' salt. Hegseth's team or trail, tasting of totalitarian tang, where 3-year tides turn to truncated tempests. WSJ's sourced-sized swirl spectral. The Admiral's legal lament a lingering low note in Southcom's silent strings. Moral metrics mangled in murky mandates maw. September 2's survivor snuff. Debris Day's duo dispatched in doubles dread. Drips with DoD desecration. Shipwreck taboo a tantalizing trespass in non-war's nebulous night. War crimes whisper wailing through undeclared dusk. Hegseth's denials dawn to concessions crepuscule curdles comedic. Levitt's latter labyrinth a lie's limp limbo in loyalty's lee. Paul's evidentiary edict. Name air not. Nips the narco-nerve numb. Fentanyl's fog flensed by cocaine's continental convoy. Graves gape a gavel's ghost in evidence's ether. NDA's sharpened shank slices secrecy's shroud. Bipartisan barbs bearing at info's impoverished vein. Wicker's thunder a red rumble rumbling the rift. Repatriation's riddle reeks of rushed reckonings. Colombian Ecuadorian voids voicing the void. Trinidad's tears a tidal toll on Fisher's fate. Veterans vow video vibrates vigilant. Kelly's keel cutting Trump's seditious surf. Oath's offensive orbiting enormous enlistment's edge. Background blast barrage. 20 hulls hollowed. 83 shades adrift. Afterburns as anomaly avalanche. Halsey's holdout a heraldic haze in hierarchy's hemorrhage. Sif's spectacle scorches the soul. Troubling, tableau a testament to taboo's trample. This necrotic narrative nauseates as naval nightmares nadir. A admiral's exile etching empire's erratic ethos. Yet the chain's quiet quake. A legality's low hum. hints at hierarchy's hinge, swinging slow toward reckoning's radiant rift.